Welcome to Blueprint Radio. I'm your host, Martin Williams. Here we help you create a blueprint for your life. So let's build. Welcome to Blueprint Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. We do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S. So today I want to tell a story about something that happened to me yesterday. And I wanted to share it because it really helped me see the power in what I teach. And sometimes we all need a little validation, a little confirmation, if you will, to know that we're going on the right path. So I live in Florida and I live near a beach, right? And so I go walking pretty much every day. There's times when I go to the gym, especially when it rains. But I make it a point to do a workout every single day. It helps me, it certainly helps me health-wise, but it also helps me to relax, helps me to get focus, get clarity, and so on. So, this is a daily practice that I make. So what happened yesterday is that, I do what I always do. I go out, I walk, I typically walk for about an hour. And I try to get in about 3 miles, 2.5 miles, 3 miles. So I did my walk and I'm coming back to my car. And I go to unlock my car, but I don't have my key. Right? So I'm reaching to my pocket, it's not there. And I'm like, oh man, what's going on? So I let out a few, not so nice words that I won't repeat here. But, I'm like, man, where could my key be? Right? And, I'm not only in a time crunch, I got to call a locksmith and all this other stuff. And I got to get a spare key made, which I will definitely do after this. But it was it wasn't something I was really wanting to deal with at that juncture, because I had a busy day ahead at work. I just had a lot to do. And so I didn't have, 2-3 hours to, figure out how to get my car unlocked. And so, not only that, I had a wallet in there, I had my laptop in there. So, I had things that couldn't stay in the car. So what I did was, I said, okay, I'm going to go find my key. Right. And so I said, I'm going to retrace my steps and see if, I, let it fall at a certain place or what have you. But, I walked almost 3 miles. So, I basically had to cover, a good part of that distance to find my key. So here I am, right? So I'm on the beach and, there aren't a small amount of people on the beach. It's a very popular beach. And at that point in the morning, there were just, there were a few... I don't know. I think it would be conservative to say over 100 people on the beach at that point and steadily growing. Right. So, what if someone had picked up the key? What if it got buried under the stand? This is a lot of scenarios playing out in my head. Right. So, I set out to go find my key. But before I did, I gave thanks and I thank God that I had found a key, right? I thank God for the key. And I then started feeling the key in my hand. And, those of you that have been listening to my podcast for any length of time, that I talk a lot about Neville Goddard. And part of his teaching has to do with imagination and using feeling as a part of your imagination, right? So I started feeling that key in my hand. And, it's my key. So I know how it feels. I know, the contour of it, the shape. I know everything about the key pretty much. So I just started feeling that key in my hand. And, for someone who doesn't really understand what I'm talking about, this sounds super weird, but just stay with me for a little bit. So, I started feeling that key, right, in my hand. In my imagination, I said, once it got really real to me, I said, all right, I'm going to go out and find it. And so I made a decision that I was going to find the key. I expressed gratitude for finding it. And then I set about to make it happen in the earth realm, to manifest it, right? So I then said, I'm only going to walk but so far, because at this point, again, it's like a time issue. So, I have to get to work. I was going to do some business work, and that kind of went out the window. I didn't have time for that. So I said, I'm going to do this. I'm only going to go a certain distance. I'm not going to go past that, right? But I'm going to go a certain distance. And if I don't find it, then I just got to figure something out, right? And so, I just started walking, and I'm basically looking down the entire time and trying to make sure I don't find my key, that I do find my key, excuse me. So I'm just looking down the entire time, and, no dice, right? So I'm like a mile in, still no dice. And now I'm coming up to my self-imposed stopping point. And as I get there, I'm looking down, and then behold, like, it's right there and it's sticking up, right? It's my key. Someone had taken the key and basically planted it in the sand so it wouldn't get buried. So whoever that kind soul was, I thank you so much, and I appreciate you. But it just really taught me, right, that there's nothing that you can't do. And it really taught me that what I've been teaching really does work. And I've been teaching it for a while, and I hadn't really been pushing it out as much as I could be, right? I know that, there's a lot more that I could be doing. And, part of it is that I'm still working. But the other part of it is that, I deal with imposter syndrome at times, because, there's always that small voice. And I think a lot of people have to deal with it, especially in this space. You feel like, am I really ready to help people? Am I really ready to be an authority figure in a topic? And I've studied it. I've studied this stuff. I've taken lots of notes, and I've lived it too. You know what I mean? Like, I've lived this stuff. And, there's always still that imposter syndrome popping up. But it really helped me push past it, what happened yesterday. Because I know that I'm a practitioner of it now. Like, I'm a true practitioner. That's the first thing I went to. Like, I didn't panic. Even though the inclination was for me to panic, I didn't panic, because I understood, okay, just settle down, right? And you know what to do. Because it's not the first time I've lost my keys, right? I've lost my keys in the house. I've lost my keys in the car. I've misplaced my phone in the past. I've misplaced my wallet in the past. It's not the first time I've misplaced anything in life, but it's the first time I lost my keys on the beach. Right. And, kind of the hopelessness, like the initial hopelessness of not finding the key, was trying to set in. Right. But I basically did the blueprint. I did what I teach. And I think that's all you can ask of anyone, right? If they don't live it, then why would you follow them, right? Why would you listen to me? Why would you listen to anybody that didn't do what they teach, right? So I share that story to offer a little bit of, transparency that I don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all, just tied up in a nice little, neat bowl. I don't have that. I'm not there, but I do believe what I teach and I do live it. And I think it'll help you. If you get into a situation where you feel like it's hopeless, we have tools, tools that we were born with. And if we just use it, we can change our lives and we can change the lives of those around us. The imagination is powerful. You can make virtually anything happen in this world as long as it's, in the realm of the possible. Excuse me. So, that's why I wanted to share that story because, sometimes we feel like, am I on the right path? Am I really doing the right thing here? And it was validation that, yeah, I'm on the right path. And I'm looking forward to helping many, many people before I'm done. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you for sitting through that story. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening to Blueprint Radio. For more information on Martin Williams coaching and products, please go to guidedexpressions.com or visit me on Facebook as well as Instagram.